I intended today to speak about resolutions. I was going to talk about the way resolutions are successful or not successful and give a few tips like go easy. Don't make overly grand declarations that you then have to take back. But I was derailed by reading a column yesterday that came online from Peggy Noonan at the Wall Street Journal. And it's not actually her words, because most of the column is not what she wrote, that I want to share with you, because this seemed to me so much better of a New Year's message than just some rabbi's suggestions about how to change your life. In her column, she quotes what was evidently a series of tweets from a man named Amjad Masad, who came to America in January of 2012 from Jordan. He settled in New York and then moved to Silicon Valley. 5 years ago, he became co-founder and CEO of Replit, whatever that is. It offers tools to learn programming, and it employs 40 people. He became a citizen in 2019 on the 10th anniversary of his arrival, and he and his wife stayed up talking about America, and he decided to share his message. And this is what he wrote. I landed in the United States 10 years ago with nothing but credit card debt. But here are 10 things I love about this country. Work ethic. The first thing I noticed is that everyone, regardless of occupation, took pride in doing a bang-up job, even when no one looked. I asked people, why do you pour everything into a job when it's seemingly thankless? And it was like asking a fish, what is water? 2, lack of corruption. In the 10 years I've been in the United States, I've never been asked for a bribe. That, I think, is something that someone who grew up here wouldn't notice as much as somebody who came from elsewhere. I, too, have never been bribed, but I never really thought about it until I read this. By the way, I'm available. You want an aliyah? Win-win mindset. People align themselves in such a way that everyone wins, especially in Silicon Valley, where you can't underestimate anyone because one day you might be working for them. Rewarding talent. From sports to engineering, America is obsessed with rewarding talent. If you're good, you'll get recognized. I'm abbreviating some of these. 5, open to weirdos. You never know where the next tech, sports, or arts innovation will come from. America had to be open to weirdness. Weirdos thrive without being crushed. From dropouts to artists, they're awesome. Forgiveness. Mistakes that people make, the culture here values authenticity, and if you're authentic and open about your failures, you'll get a second chance and a third chance. Basic infrastructure. Parks are clean, subways and buses run on time, utilities and services work. Because life can be livable for a while without income, it was possible for us to quit our jobs and bootstrap our business. Optimism. When you set foot in the United States, there's a palpable sense of optimism. People believe that tomorrow will be better than today. When we started up, even unbelievers encouraged us. Access to capital. It's a lot harder to try to change the world without capital. If you have a good idea and a track record, someone will be willing to bet on you. And freedom. Clearly a cliche, but it's totally true. None of the above works if you're not free to explore, to tinker, to build companies, to move about freely. I still find it amazing that if I respect the law and others, I can do whatever I want without being compelled and restricted. Now, he wrote all this saying some of these things are in danger from various ideologies and people, and we all emphasize and we read and talk all year long about the dangers. the way in which people make it harder for other people to say what they want, to think what they want, to build what they want. And because there is this constant drumbeat of criticism, when I read this, part of me was surprised. But I shouldn't have been. Because it depends where you come from, as you know. I shared with the Bar Mitzvah family that a couple of weeks ago I was in Dubai and I came back and I spoke to somebody who spends a lot of time in the Middle East and lived in Dubai for 5 years. And I said, look, it's a really neat place, amazing what they've done in 25 years, but it's basically Las Vegas-y without the casinos. And he said, that's because you came from LA. He said, but fly to Dubai from Yemen or from Riyadh and it's a miracle. And I thought, I was surprised because I grew up in Philadelphia. But come from Jordan, like this man did, and we live in a miracle. And it is good at the beginning of the year not to focus on everything that is wrong with America. It's a big, giant enterprise with a history and with lots of different kinds of people. Of course, there are going to be things that are going to be radically wrong with it, always have been, and always, I hate to say this, will be, always. But it is astonishing how much we get right. It is amazing to begin the year listening to someone who came from a place where these things are not possible, as some of you did. And to live in a place where all these things can happen, where in 10 years, this guy who came with nothing can run a company and end up with his words on Twitter and then in the Wall Street Journal for the entire world to read. What a miracle this country is. And nobody should know that better than the Jews. Any Jew who lives in America and is not grateful in America is foolish or ignorant. After all, when he says that America tolerates weirdos, in history, guys, Jews are weirdos. And look where we are and what we've done. So for now, forget advice about resolutions. All I really want to say on this January 1st, 2022, in many ways of a pandemic and difficulty and struggles and arguments and anger and all the problems we have, is not even God bless America. I just want us to remember God has blessed America.